All right, good morning, everyone. We're back. Let's go on to our 10 o'clock community development. Kell or Marissa?
I think it's going to be just me this morning.
That works.
Pretty quick one for you. Back in July, I brought that SCJ Alliance was our only applicant for the 2025 periodic update of our comprehensive plan, and that we were going forward with drafting a contract with them. We've been working on that, and I believe we have a pretty good scope of work, which was attached to the briefing this morning. And we've already had legal and risk look at the professional services portion of the contract, and they're all good with that. And we're hoping to get this moved to the 26th for approval of signing the contract.
Looked good to me. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Not for me.
All right, looks good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to public health. Dave, are you on? Here he is.
Yes, I am. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we only have two items here today, and Melissa is out, so I'll be covering both of those. So the first thing we have is North Mason Fire Authority's mental health wellness program. It's Monday. I have to teach my mouth all over again. And they have a proposal to add a psychiatric health nurse to their program that they're currently doing in North Mason. It's kind of a pilot program, very innovative stuff they've got going up there around incorporating mental health, and they've been doing primary health outreach through the EMS system. So this adds another dimension to that. We've included their proposal. It's pretty complete. What they're asking for is $75,000 from the treatment sales tax fund. And we'd like to take this to action agenda next week.
All right, commissioners, any comments or questions?
Yeah, Dave, the only thing that I have, I'm very supportive of this. They had come talk to me about it, and they've done so well with the other program. I'm extremely supportive of it. But I want to point out they still need to do some work on making sure they get this established as a billable to insurance process,
right,
to make it doable.
Yeah.
We can't just keep giving money to it if they don't establish that and get that done. So I have no problem with that for the first year, with the caveat that they have it fixed and put into place for the next year. But I'm just one commissioner. But I can just tell you, as a big supporter of this, guys, I really am, because remember, I'm the first one that was pushing to have that other part brought in. I do know that we're still lacking there, and that needs to be established for it to continue forever without us. We can't always afford to take care of everything.
Right. So we have talked about that, and Bo and I have talked extensively about that particular thing. And Bo has connections now with the managed care organizations, the MCOs, to get the billing started for that, so we can bill the Medicaid, certainly the Medicaid end of those things, and then look at what we can also do around the private health insurance as well. So, but primarily, most of the clients either have Medicaid or basically nothing else. So that's the kind of the clientele we're looking at. This is a one-year test program, and the idea is it should be paying for itself by next year.
Commissioner Schutte?
Yeah, thank you. 100% supportive of this. I think it's a well thought out proposal. Definitely helps strengthen the safety net in our community for folks who need a little bit of additional treatment. And so this is, I think, a good step forward for us. I do agree with Commissioner Netherland about the sustainability component of it. And I think just as you know, the fire authority gets their billing up and figured out for the primary health side with Adam, this will fall in line in a similar way. And so definitely want to keep supporting this kind of innovation in our community. So happy to support moving the funding request forward.
Yeah, I think this is a positive step in the right direction. So I'm super excited to see how it grows throughout the rest of the county as well.
Yeah.
I see North Mason on here. Do you guys want to say anything?
Well, thank you for the support. This is a resource that doesn't come, into a county very often with this type of credentialing and professional credentialing. Commissioner Netherland could be more right on point with, we do need to get billing up and running. It's taking longer with Adam and on the mobile integrated health because he's becoming a provider with the authority. This particular arrangement, as Dave was talking about, with working with our MCOs, but also working with Christy in a contracting capability, she would be able to bill and get billing up for services actually within a matter of maybe a couple of weeks, and maybe even shorter than that. But it is, Adam is doing his best. We've got a lot of resources in Mason County that are working around mental health, but this would give us an unprecedented scope of services out there in the field that, again, and I hope the big thing that I want to, as we reach out, it's not just for folks in North Mason. It's not just for folks that the fire authority is working with. I'm hoping the sheriff's office, I'm hoping other resources in Mason County can utilize her services as well and make her available for everybody that's out there. But we really thank the commission for its support, both for mobile integrated health, which is doing remarkable things, and certainly the mental health piece here as well. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? I think this is an amazing opportunity. I want to thank you guys for bringing this forward too, and helping to get this off the ground.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm proud of everything you guys have done, but you know me, I've always got to play it straight, regardless of what area it's in, and that is the one weakness I believe we need to fix, so that I can be honorable with everybody here. But boy, do I ever support you, and do I ever want it. I just want that piece fixed. That's all.
You got it.
All right. Anything else?
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move that one to the action agenda then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Our next thing is the temporary inflationary relief fund program, fiscal year 24 agency subcontracts and amendments. So you see those in front of you. We've got a total of $276,848 passed through to subcontractors from Department of Commerce state grant. So these will need to be moved to action agenda next week for signature, and then go out to our subcontractors for signature.
Any questions or comments, commissioners?
For me.
Oh, good.
No, it looks great. I appreciate you guys doing the work on this.
All right, commissioners, that's it for me, unless you have other questions.
Anything for Dave?
I mean, I could say that we are seeing an uptick with COVID, and just put out again, if you're sick, stay home, don't share it. So,
Right.
and the people who are getting sick are really actually getting quite sick, but it's but they're bouncing back 5 days later. Usually they're coming out of it without a fever. So, it's just something to be aware of.
Right. So Dave, I heard a conversation this morning about the COVID tests. They said that some of them are expired. How long are they good for after the expiration date?
That's a really good question. So we just ordered several thousand more COVID tests, and they all came from DOH with the expiration. And, they're expired. The thing to keep in mind is that when you're taking the test and you put the drop on, if the control line marked with a C shows up nice and sharp, the test is good. If the control line is not visible or it's really fuzzy, then to get a different test.
That's good to hear. Can you reach out and maybe let people, just a clarifying statement so that they understand that as well?
Can do. And we do have tests available here for free. So just stop by the health department, or we can ship some up north as well, to spread these test kits around.
Right. And could you bring some over? We have quite a few people stopping by the receptionist and picking up tests. So
yeah,
if you
absolutely. We'll
bring
drop
some
some
over,
by.
that would be great.
Well, actually, so that our receptionist who does not have a glass protecting her separated, perhaps you can have it in a basket on the table or something instead of her giving them out.
Yeah, we can do that. We can kind of have the same thing here in our office as well. People can just step in the door, take one, and go.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Can do.
All right, anything else for Dave?
Yeah, before you jump off, Dave, just to kind of give people a reminder, because it's been a while since we've really talked about COVID. So if we're seeing the numbers of COVID individuals getting COVID go up, just a reminder about staying home, first of all, to make sure that you can get through it before you come back into the office. But then when you come back into the office, isn't there a recommendation that those individuals wear a mask?
Right.
For 5 days?
Right. So the recommendation is stay at home for 5 days. If you still have a fever, don't come back until your fever is gone for 24 hours without Tylenol or some other fever reducing medication. So if the fever is gone, you're on Tylenol, stop the Tylenol and see if the fever comes back. Once you've achieved that point, if you're coming back, CDC recommends that you wear a mask for 5 days in the workplace. Now, there is no mask mandate in the state. There's nothing from the Secretary of Health, saying that's absolutely mandatory. But my recommendation is absolutely wear your mask for 5 days when you come back, and it helps you, and I think it provides some help for other people in your office, a little reassurance. So.
What about individuals that maybe in a higher risk category during times where the number of COVID cases increases? Is there a recommendation for them to also mask up?
Yeah, so if you feel you're at risk, especially if you are at risk of respiratory disease, or if you're undergoing cancer treatments, anything where your immune system is suppressed, I would recommend, if you are indoors with around people, wear a mask, and I would recommend getting N95. It's more effective than the cloth masks or the surgical masks. But don't put yourself at risk. If you know you have a risk, mitigate those risks, and we can help people. If people want to know what to do, they can give us a call. One thing that we've noticed this last week is that the state is no longer tracking COVID data by county. So our ability to pull that data has been much reduced. Now, what we do have that I'm using for kind of a barometer of what's going on in the county is we are monitoring COVID in the wastewater at the sewage treatment plant. So we can actually track the bacteria in the wastewater. And for a while, 2 weeks ago, the curve was almost vertical. The amount of COVID virus in the wastewater stream is starting to come back down now. So we are watching that, keeping an eye on that, but it does give us a barometer right now. And it's about the only barometer we have, because most people are testing at home. Not many of the people testing at their healthcare provider, and then DOH is not tracking it for us anyway. So we're kind of taking things on our own here.
Great. Thanks for that update, Dave. I appreciate it. It's we can't require individuals to wear masks when they return back to work. So if you are in one of those high risk categories or you're concerned about it, then you're welcome to wear a mask in the office or when you're around individuals. So just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that, and it was a good reminder. So thanks, Dave.
Yep, anytime. And that's all I have.
All right. Well, and sorry about your loss, Dave.
Thanks. Yeah, tough weekend.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for Dave? All right, let's move on to support services.
All righty, Diane.
Good morning. So the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council has openings. So we have a news release we'd like to put on next week's agenda.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
All good.
Thank you. And then last week I received official notification from the Port of Dewato that they've had a vacancy since April 8th. And they weren't able to appoint in the 90 days the port had. So now it's come to the county, which our 90 days will end October 8th. And they did have someone step forward, a Wilson Sapp, who has said he would serve on the port. So I'm asking the board to put his appointment on next week's agenda.
I'm supportive.
Them as well.
As am I.
Thank you. And then my last item, Mackenzie's been working with Tim Whitehead. We had a phone call from Robert Cook. He's a realtor for John and Kim Rice. They own property out in Allen off of Sherwood Avenue. And there was an order of vacation back in 1925 by order of law. But unfortunately, when it was recorded into the final order, it left this little sliver of property off of the order. So if you look at the drawings, you can see where it's just this little bit. And the Rices would like to purchase that from the county and then combine it into the two parcels they own that adjoin it. And to do so, Tim Whitehead had recommended we surplus it, which would take a hearing, and then to sell it to them, which we did put down. The assessed property value on the county records is $730 for this little piece of property.
I'm just not sure the assessed value is the way to go on establishing a value. It never has been. It doesn't work for anything else. I know that for something so small, you can't really get an appraisal, but at the very bare minimum to protect our county, we should have a market analysis by our realtor that we have. That, and I don't even know if that would do it legally, because it may require something else, but by law. But at the very bare minimum, we should have a market analysis by our realtor to establish the value of that property, not the assessment.
Okay, so is the board good with that? I can ask Richard Beckman to do a market analysis.
That's good with me.
Yep, that sounds good. Is this something that we want to just start doing as a, instead of changing it, oh my goodness, the way that we do the things, do we want to make sure that this is like a status quo? This is what we do each time?
I don't know, because I'm a little bit afraid of it. Even though I'm a realtor and that's how I look at things, I don't know the state does. For our bigger properties, it's always required an actual appraisal. I don't know. Believe me, I can assure you it makes absolutely no sense to pay for an appraisal on this. Even if, not Yellow Book, just any appraisal, it's still going to run them $650 for an appraisal.
There is a cost associated with the market analysis with Mr. Beckman also.
How much is that for a market analysis?
I wanted to say it's $500, but I'm not sure.
Really? Yeah, let's double check that, because market analysis shouldn't.
I don't know if it's called out in his contract on doing a market analysis, but if we.
It is.
Is it for that? So it's 500? Because I know he has a minimum, like if he's involved in a transaction, there is a minimum.
I can't remember the exact dollar amount, Diane, but I do know that there is a charge associated with the market analysis with Mr.
Okay.
Well, and the truth is, he's going to be involved with this transaction unless we're doing them on our own now.
Well, that's what I kind of figured, because I don't know the paperwork side of it all, which I know there's a minimum he gets paid when he does a transaction.
So if the commission is willing to move forward with the sale of this parcel, then maybe we could talk to Richard about helping us go through this process and negotiate what that price would look like for a due diligence market analysis, as well as the paperwork associated with the sale.
I'm interested in moving forward with the process of surplusing.
Okay.
Because that's when we ask the question of our other people, is there any use that we have for it? And if they come back with a negative, then it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm good with that as well.
Yep, as am I.
Okay. I will work on that one and then we'll bring it back, but we'll get a hearing set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. I believe I'm next.
Morning.
Morning.
So I am bringing back the 2024 budget workshop calendar, and I'll share that if you don't mind. So I'm hoping to have the overview of the 2024 budget to you next Monday, the 25th of September, and then beginning in October to have budget workshops with departments. And so I've put in blue here possible days that all three of you might be available in October. The days not in blue, it looks like there were conflicts in some of your schedules. So So I just wanted to see if we could set on dates and possible times for departments to schedule budget workshops. So on the 3rd is our board retreat in the morning, I believe. So possibly in the afternoon of October 3rd.
That works for me.
It's good with me.
Me also.
Okay, and how about the 4th of October?
Good.
I can do probably in the afternoon. Is that doable for commissioners?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, great. So beginning at 1 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. And then I blocked out or put in blue Thursdays as well, just as a possibility. So I don't know if that's something you want to entertain looking at, or if you want to look at the next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday instead.
Yeah. Thursday actually works better for me. The following week I will be in oh no, not then. Sorry.
Yeah. Now on the 5th of October, I have a bunch of different meetings in my calendar.
Okay.
So it'd be hard for me to do it.
Well, and then I'll be on the road on the 10th and then at an LSC meeting on the 11th.
Okay. So possibly the 9th.
9th
Yeah,
is
9th would work perfect. The afternoon would work great for me.
I can't.
Oh yeah.
I do
Okay.
chemo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. So how about October 25th and 26th?
What about the 10th after the commission meetings?
I'll be driving to Pullman, but I could
Okay.
I
Well,
could
we don't want to do this while you're driving.
Yeah.
That
that would be tough.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can just work on the 3rd and 4th, but if not, I just wanted to have a couple alternative times, maybe the October 25th.
25th again, the afternoon would work for me.
Yep, I can do the 24th, the 25th.
Yeah.
I will be in Wenatchee, but I can zoom in if that works.
Well, and we can simplify this a lot. You want me to wait for a minute, Jennifer, till you go over some more dates, or can I make a recommendation?
Go ahead and make a recommendation.
So you're really good at this now. We're all have done this, and every one of us are experienced. We have great faith. I have great faith in you. I should only speak for myself, I guess, but nobody's going to disagree with what I'm about to say. You understand this process, and you could streamline this quite a bit by going through each of theirs, as you will with us anyway, and giving us your recommendations of everything that is going to be maintenance, the things that are questionable for maintenance, and then have a meeting with them, allow them online at that time, so that we could question them if we do have a question on it, and get that all off the table. So the only thing that would be left is their requests.
Thank you. I appreciate the confidence. I have gotten to the point where I have pretty well narrowed down the PLRs, but I think we will still need some negotiating.
Absolutely, but it's not whether they agree or not, it's us
Yeah.
first. And so the things that we're mostly going to agree with you when it comes to maintenance and operation, and if there are things that are questionable, you've already worked with us all, and we end up able to make that decision quickly amongst us. We've become very good at it as a commission. So the other things that are the request, that's going to take negotiation anyway. And so we have them at a meeting just to give their requests, and then we can chop it all down and then come back for our final one and make the final decisions on all of them after hearing their narration on why they want their requests.
I really hope it's that easy this year. Yeah.
Well, that part may be a little harder.
Okay, so we'll just try to fit everybody in on October 3rd and 4th. If that doesn't work, October 25th, maybe October 24th. How about the 26th?
I'm in Wenatchee the entire week.
Okay,
How about the
Except for
31st?
Monday.
yeah, that,
I'm not here for the 31st.
oh, okay, maybe that's why I didn't have it.
26. Let me see the 26th. October 26th. If we had to, I can do it on the 26th. I think if you do this though, we're gonna have the majority of it done on the 3rd and 4th. After that, you're just gonna be giving spots for them to come and give their presentation for their requests. Because whatever we don't agree is maintenance and operation, if they want to argue that it's maintenance and operation, that'll be part of their request.
Okay, I mean, yeah, hopefully we can just get it done. I just don't like to leave a lot to chance, you know, with you know what I mean? I just want to have more dates available than we
Absolutely.
need. Because inevitably we'll, you know, need that time, I feel like. I mean, we can even move into November if needed. Hopefully not.
Well, November will probably be where we do our roll up.
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping. And then the 20th, we'll need to have the finalized version to put online for adoption on the 4th.
Mhm.
So, okay, well, this gives me a pretty good idea, and hopefully we can work with the departments for scheduling on the 3rd and 4th in the afternoon, and then I'm hoping we'll be able to do roll-ups the week of the 24th. And Sharon, does that work? You're going to be in Wenatchee. Will you be able to zoom in on the 24th, 25th, and 26th?
I'll make sure that I can. Yeah. Yeah, the 26th will be harder. Just because that's the Public Works Board.
Okay.
But the 24th and 25th, I'll just make sure that I'm available.
Okay. And commissioners, you said the afternoon on the 24th and 25th?
Kevin had something going on one of those days. I think it was the 24th, Kevin.
Double check here. 24th or the 25th I could do the afternoon. The 24th I can do immediately following our commission meeting through the afternoon. I'm pretty flexible that day.
Okay, great. Thank you. That helps. I think that should be enough time for us. So thank you. I'll move on to my next one unless anybody has anything else.
Just a comment for you. The reason why I'm saying this stuff that I'm saying now, I was going over some of this stuff in my head this morning as I was coming in, and you and I had talked about, you know, originally I had the A plus, A plus plus and stuff like that. Here's the big difference between now and then. You doing all their work. That's the difference. Because back then, while it was still a fight, was because they still had to say what their base was, what their maintenance and operation was, and then what their request was. So they had to do all the work. They don't do that anymore. You pretty much do all of that. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying today. You can blow through most of that because we know who you are. We understand what you do, how you think, and you're going to have a few things you're going to ask us, and we're going to rule on at that time, and we'll just blow through it because that is what you do now. And everybody needs to say.
I really hope that it's that easy. We'll see. Okay, thank you very much. So moving on to the next item is the Mason County Housing Authority. So I briefed this last week, and I do have a little bit of an update for you this week. We wanted to make sure that Commissioner Schutte was available for this briefing. So we reached out to the Housing Authority again and received some payroll information to complete. I think it completes the second quarter. So we have about $47,000 for the second quarter. And the Housing Authority also gave us information that they've hired an outside contractor and plan to spend about $101,000 on remodeling work. So that brings them to about just under $250,000 that they have or will have obligated out of the $750,000 that we gave them. So I still have concerns on moving forward, with the current contract that we have and the amount that appears that is left in cash out of that $750,000. So I just wanted to get guidance from you commissioners on if you have any thoughts on how you want to proceed.
You have a recommendation?
I would recommend that we change the contract to include administration and operating costs and not just remodeling costs.
And that is allowable?
It is.
Without-
Okay. Yes, it's allowable.
I think I would be agreeable to that. That might help. They're struggling and I'd like to help them if we can, because they do provide a great service to our community.
So are we not going to have them come back and ask that, like we do everybody else, to change the scope of their contract?
Oh, I think we should.
Yeah, I would recommend that you do that.
I would think so. Nobody gets special treatment.
I think my concern. So you, Jennifer, I think you have, and Kate and your team, you guys have done a great job in trying to make heads or tails out of what was going on with the Housing Authority. I certainly value the work that they do, and I think at the center of all this is the clients and the residents that they serve. I'm just really nervous about sort of I'm not sure that changing the scope of the contract solves the root of the problem there, in terms of my level of concern with how the money's being managed. And so I maybe would want to have an offline conversation with you to talk through some of those concerns. But at a minimum, I think they need to come back and have the conversation with us about amending their contract. I would even be, my preference would probably be trying to get back some of the money that they have and doing it on a reimbursable basis or something along those lines, to ensure that the funds are being managed appropriately. I have a much, much higher level and different level of trust in you, Jennifer, and Kate, to manage those funds appropriately versus what I've seen out of the Housing Authority over the past several months. And so I would like to have a little bit of additional conversation about that, just so that we're protecting our interests and ultimately protecting the residents in those facilities. I mean, the last time they came through, they kind of sort of sprung it on all of us that they're selling these properties and changing, some of the direction of the Housing Authority, which is certainly their prerogative. But at the same time, we're making these big investments in the organization, and I want to have some confidence back to the taxpayers that those funds are being managed appropriately, that they're within scope, and that there isn't anything going on that we should be concerned about.
Because of those concerns, Kevin, that's why last week I actually asked that we hold off until you're here so we can have those discussions. My recommendation with what you just said there, I like the idea of both of this, but perhaps what we put forward is we wait for a week and we have those conversations, Kevin, and maybe we get Jennifer to draw up a straw dog on what these requests would look like to come back to them with, and give, if they're going to make a request, to be honest, it'd be smarter if we had them make a request based on what we design, than them just coming in with it. With that also being said, I do know that after those discussions, there was contracts that were going on in one of the buildings that was halted immediately, and to make sure the money is spent in the other ones. And I do want to point out that it is not necessarily a bad thing on selling the items. I think I've always told everybody where I thought that they should be. They should be getting rid of the ones they can't control or take care of anymore than reinvest in new housing for the community. But that's a whole different animal. But so I guess based on what you said, I'm going to go along with you. I'd like to ask that we hold off for at least another week, have those conversations. Maybe we can have Jennifer, if you guys will agree, draw up what that would look like with both perspectives.
I'm good with that. I think the other thing is, I mean, I want to see that a little bit more clearly defined. Part of what we funded was essentially funding staffing for them to do this work in house, and so I'm not sure that, adding specific language into the contract that's for administration or operations necessarily solves the problem that we're having. I think that's where my main concern lies, because I think we're already staffing operations if we're paying for staff in-house to do these things. It sounds like now that they're going to go out and contract for some of this work. So I appreciate that, and I think having a little bit more time to really be clear about what it is we're trying to accomplish and what problem we're trying to solve will be helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I think that with the box of statements and information that they brought in and the minimal amount of use that there was or available information, I have concerns. I've recommended that they also reach out to some other housing authorities to see how they manage, how they operate, because I think that's a step that they need to make that should have been made maybe quite a while ago. But I think they need some guidance.
So can we take a couple of weeks to do this right and bring it back so we can have the full conversations? So Kevin, you can have your full conversations also. I would like some more conversations on that too, because I definitely have some opinions on how I'd like to make sure those dollars are protected.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, me too.
Okay, so maybe ask them to come in and speak with you on maybe the 25th or October 2nd.
I'd recommend we do our conversations first, come up with straw dogs and what we'd like to see before doing that. Because after we know what we're talking about and what we want, then we should include them in. I'm not sure this is a negotiation as much as it is a design for what we think is best, and then a negotiation or discussion.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Then the last thing that I have is, and I also briefed this last week. This is the request to award the 0.09 Rural County Sales and Use Tax funding for 2024. We received 2 applications, one from the Economic Development Council for $99,000 and one from Public Works for Belfair Sewer for $450,000 for 2 years. So for each year, 2024 and 2025. And so I just wanted to ask if we can go out, send the letter to the port districts and then the city, letting them know we received these applications and possibly put this funding on the October 24th action agenda.
So you're probably going to kill me again. But
Actually, Commissioner, again, we held this one over for you.
Yeah. No, I Mark and I have a couple of things to catch up on relative to funding the EDC request, and so I want to be able to get with him this morning. And so if you could just bring this back on Monday, I don't think that delays us too terribly, since we can't take action until next Tuesday anyway. I'm certainly comfortable with the allocation to Belfair, so I just want to have a little bit. We want to follow up on a couple items together this morning.
Sure, I'll bring this back next week, and I believe we will still have time to send the letters out and get it on the action agenda for the 24th, if that's what you choose to do.
So what would we have left over on our expected budgetary view where you expect the 09 funds to be? Because we also have money that we pay to Shelton, a few others. Do you have a expectation of anything left over, and how much?
So for Fund 103, the rural sales and use tax, we're estimating that they're going to come in with about 2.3 million in cash for 2024. And they're going to bring in roughly $1,055,000. And then investment earnings, I put in 80,000 for that. So going out, so that's their total budget then would be about 3.435 million.
Whose total budget? What is that? I'm just talking about the 09 fund.
Oh, this is the 09 fund.
Okay, the 09 fund, we're expecting to bring in how much?
$1,055,000.
1,055,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're expecting to expend.
So for the city next year, we have 108,647 budgeted to expend. And then we have internal allocation 7,759 and state audit charges 2,103. I do have the 90,000 for the EDC and maintenance level and the 450,000 as a transfer out to Belfair in maintenance level, just because.
Yeah.
That's
So we're looking at 700K.
Yeah, we're looking at about 660,000 roughly, just under that.
Yeah, and plus the extras there's so 700K. So that leaves the reason why I'm not prepared to actually. I'm going to go through Mark to have him have a discussion with you to see if we want to make an offer to help our neighbor a little bit this year. We'll talk further on that. I just want to see if there's other monies available.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's all that I have for you, commissioners. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
TJ, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Morning, commissioners.
Morning.
So as you know, we started the CTG project in the jail for the camera upgrade. A couple weeks back, they came on site to do a deep dive walkthrough and check all camera positions, everything like that. And they noticed we have an issue with the control software in the control room. So we're in a position where it can't be upgraded at this time. So the machine is too old to take the new software. The software is too old to take a new machine. So they're proposing moving things around, reorganizing, putting in a new system with the new software. Part of that includes a bigger touchscreen monitor that will kind of help the way they do the operations in the jail. The cost of all that is $5,400. So we're looking for approval for the county administrator to sign the proposal and move forward.
Supportive.
Works for me.
I'm supportive as well, but TJ, can you just tell us what this takes the total cost up to?
I don't have the previous proposal in front of me. It would take me a minute to dig it out.
No problem. Even if you don't have it handy right now, I think when we go to vote to authorize Mark to sign this, I think it would be good to have a total cost of the project with the increases.
I will let you know.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's all the items that I had on our specific agenda. Do have some administrator updates. Mary, are you available to talk to the commissioners a little bit about law or legal services?
Good morning, Commissioners. Mason County is looking to, and HR specifically is looking to get some labor law and employment services that are a little bit more cost effective and in need, as we have a couple issues that we need to address rather quickly. And so I was wanting to potentially pursue buying off of Kitsap County's contract for Summit Law and seeing their rates are definitely a little bit more reasonable and are being used by many municipalities in our area and are experts in their field.
Yeah, and aside from checking with our lawyers, we can check with MRSC, because I think that's where it came from before when we decided to use them years ago, with them saying that we could piggyback.
Great. Yeah, I think being able to kind of sort those details out and be able to hopefully piggyback, I think that's a good path for us. So look forward to hearing more.
I know we've used them in the past, so and they've done. They're good to have around. So look forward to our next conversation on it.
Thank you.
That's all I had for you guys.
Right, Commissioners, do we have anything for Mark?
I do not.
All right, I do not either. Commissioners, do we have any calendar updates for the upcoming week?
Nothing on my end. It looks like it would be a potential quorum.
Same here.
Then, the judicial candidate forum on the 25th. Probably one.
Sorry. And that's in the evening, right?
Correct. Yeah, but Olympic College.
Yeah, I will be at that as well. Other than that, I think that nothing much has changed.
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
Okay.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody have a nice week.
All right.